So, there's some disdain over the new LR Cell and LR Gohan. Let's talk about that. All right, guys, name is Tyler, aka Nanogenix, and today we're talking about LR Cell, we're talking about LR Gohan. Now, I just want to get this out front for those of you that click on the video and click off within the first minute. This is me sort of chiming in on that disdain for these two new units, but I'm not going as far to say I'm not going to summon, because I bet these banners are going to be pretty good, and B, even though I am disappointed with both of these units and their transformation mechanics, both of them, now after having seen rainbowed versions of them over on DFree's channel, over on Truth's channel, granted, those are like their top tier, right? Those are like when they're rainbowed 100%, average sort of player that pulls them will not have them in that state immediately right away. Seeing them being used, they are still incredible units. So just to go ahead and throw this out there, I'm still going to summon 100%. So when my summoning video goes up later today, you're like, Banano said this. No, I didn't say any of that. No, I just wanted to chime in on this, wanted to kind of let the dust settle, wanted to see if Dokkan was going to change it. Now, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, and all this is sort of just jargon to you, basically the transformation mechanics on both of these units aren't ideal. They're kind of sort of something that we thought we were hopefully going to get past them doing, but instead they've almost made, especially in Gohan's case, it almost even harder to see a transformation. Now, does it kind of make some sense to an extent? Maybe a little bit, but the way they did it and the execution of it is just so strange. Now, before we actually hop in, I do want to take a look at this. By the way, this is going to serve essentially as my before you summon. We don't know the banners. I can't do a lot of the before you summon stuff I would typically do. The leaks were a little more limited this time, which we are going to talk about why that was too. That's neither here nor there. This is basically going to serve as my before you summon. Talk about these units really fast. Both of them are good. I would have to imagine Gohan definitely looks better than Cell overall. I figured he was going to be when I first started tweeting out about this. I first said, of course, Team Gohan. Then all the leaks came out. We could see what they could do, and I was like, well, maybe Team Cell. But then, in normal fashion, on paper, it looked better than it actually was going to be in an actual practice. And of course, the Gohan does indefinitely look better than the Cell. So I'm still absolutely Team Gohan out here. And so both of them, I think, will end up on a top 10 list. I'm not really one for top 10 lists here on Dokkan. My couple top 10 lists have been more about the aesthetics of stuff. I'm not an advocate for the whole optimal thing. I think outside of like Goku's event, SPR, and EZA's, run the team you want to run. There's not really any Dokkan events that really present you with any challenge that you couldn't run these sort of units you want to run and the team that you want to run. You don't have to fit into this nice cube of quote unquote optimal type things. But if I were someone that built that list, I think this Gohan would probably be top 5 and Cell would be top 5, but I think Cell's problem is his utility is not as good, his link set is not as good, his ability to get key is not as good. So his statistically, if you're able to set him up in the right sort of situation, he's an incredible unit that puts up good numbers defense and attack wise. But the problem is his utility is not very good, and he can't get key like at all. And it goes back to the things we've seen previously, and that's kind of what I want to talk about, because when you have stuff like the LR SSJ4s that exist who get key just so easily, you get 3 key for Rainbow Key Sphere and 4 key for their own typing. So SPR orbs for Vegeta and AGL orbs for the SSJ for Goku. And then you have something that LR Kel and Caulifla that exists, and you're worried about these units being broken when LR Kel and Caulifla exist. Now, when people do tier lists on other games that aren't usually single player games, this is a single player game with a minor multiplayer aspect with the World Tournament. You're not too worried about how broken these units are going to be really when like it's a single player game and LR Kel and Caulifla exists. So if you would make a tier list, I would have to imagine, and I know if you guys are super deep in the YouTube community, that's Truth's thing as well. He's a very big advocate for the fact that Kel and Caulifla are the best unit in the game, but it's just they are like it's not a situation where we title like this is the best team ever or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, no, really, they really are. Like, if there was a tier list, I have to imagine the LSJ4s, this Gohan, stuff like that, Gogeta would be probably in like an S tier. That'd be like literally top tier units. But then you'd have to create their own tier. Kel and Caulifla would get their own tier. That's how good they are comparatively to everything else beneath them. That's how great they are. They can attack so many times from their kit. They can infinitely raise their defense. It's just dumb what they can do, okay? I'm not here to talk anymore about them. I'm just kind of sort of setting it up, because why do we care about how crazy a Gohan or a Cell is when you have a thing like LR Kel and Caulifla that exists? So as we're hopping in, I want to give a shout out to, of course, the Dokkan Wiki here. Also a shout out to the Reddit, because we're going to be taking a look at a post from a few days back. Now, I just want to go ahead and echo once again, I'm still excited for these units. I'm just disappointed because their active abilities, their transformation, stuff like that, I think the best way to define them is they they aren't rewarding. They don't feel rewarding enough. There's something about them where, like, yes, I kind of understand that to some extent. To get like Gohan's transformation, it would be kind of cool if you did have to go through some minor loops to make that happen. And so then when you swipe up, you use his active ability, he goes Super Saiyan 2. Like, it feels epic, it feels awesome. You're like, yes, I did this. It wasn't exactly a gimme, but it wasn't to an extent that it's literally annoying. And like, what they did with him is they made it annoying. So it's a difference from a rewarding to be just being pure annoying. So if you've missed everything about both Cell, both Gohan, all of that, and same thing goes for the Cell. The thing about the Cell, you have to get below 30% HP before you can even see this man transform into perfect Cell, and you can't use his active ability until he's in his perfect Cell form. So I'll try and not make this video too terribly long. Let's talk first about the Gohan. So there's a few strikes here with both these units releasing. Strike 1. In order for Gohan to awaken, he has to be below 50. Your team has to be below 58% HP, and you have an Android 16 on your team. That's part of his condition. So the thing that sucks though is that they released a new Android 16, which is great, it's fine, but they made him intelligence. And of course, Android 16 does not do a Kamehameha blast, so he doesn't fit into Gohan's category. Oh, that's the Cell Juniors we're talking about in a second. So that's strike 1. Right, so they made, I guess technically 16 not being AGL and not fitting into Gohan's category as strike 2. So that's part of an issue. Now, if you don't have 16 on your team, they're like, okay, well, there is another option here. So if you don't have 16 on your team, then you need to be below 58% HP or less with an existing Android's category ally or facing an Android's category enemy. So no matter what, for Gohan to transform, you either need to have like a Cell or another Android on your team and be past the 5th turn, below 58% HP, or you be on a team with Android 16 and just be below 58% HP. Now, if you could manage it, then by like turn 2, by rotation 2, you could technically transform into SSJ2 Gohan if you have an Android 16 on your team. But the reason why I'm saying strikes is this brand new unit. They put 16 on the banner, so ideally you probably want to pull 16. Then you want to pull, obviously you want to pull the Gohan. That's the main reason you're there. Then they throw in another wrench into it, because when you go Super Saiyan 2 to get his most effective 18 key super attack, you have to have a Super Saiyan Goku. Attack plus 59% when performing an Ultra Super Attack, and your team has Super Saiyan Goku attacking not on the team, but in the same turn. So you need to have an SSJ Goku on your same turn to be able to get the additional attack plus 59%. Now, does this Gohan really need that? He doesn't. He already is going to put up insane numbers. He gets attack plus 20% and defense plus 7% per key sphere obtained. And he gets key plus 1 per key sphere obtained. So he's just like the old LR SSJ2 Gohan as well. So you don't really need Super Saiyan Goku, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to say that because they've included that in the kits. We'll say that's strike 3. So you need a Super Saiyan Goku, which I imagine we're going to get a new one very soon. But even if we don't, the Super Saiyan Gokus in the game are pretty limited. There's really not that many because, granted, you can use them all in Kamehameha, so there is that. But you can use most of them in Kamehameha, if not all of them. Some of them I think maybe aren't because they use a different technique. But anyway, and then if you want to be able to run everything all together, 16 Gohan, then you need Cell. So that's strike 4. So basically what they made you want to do, if you want to be able to run everything, all the new shiny stuff, all the way that you know it's sort of set up to be ran, you need Cell, you need 16, you need Gohan, and you need a Super Saiyan Goku. So Cell is an Android Cell Saga category key plus 4, HP and attack plus 150, defense plus 170, or he also boosts extreme intelligence. His issue, he's a good unit. Like, I really think I think you're going to see him put up numbers in this state. He's going to be very similar to an LR SSJ4 Vegeta in terms of offense. His defense is incredible, right? Attacking defense plus 80%, raises defense by up to 80%. The more HP remaining, the greater the defense boost. He also gets an additional key plus 1, attack plus 20% per existing enemy. He still runs into key issues unless you're taking on non-Dokkan Festival typical events. I mean, some Dokkan Fests have multiple enemies, but most Dokkan Fests, most sort of just general events, there's like one enemy. So he still runs into some key issues, even having key plus 4 on his leader ability. Mostly due to the fact that well, Android Cell Saga doesn't really have any good support units at the moment. You couldn't run him on a bunch of other teams, though. He fits on a ton of categories. I think like 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He fits on 8 categories, so he is very versatile in that sense. He only has one freaking key link, man, and they didn't even give him shocking speed. The other cells have shocking speed. I don't understand their shocking speed. His sort of Cell Junior that requires you to have a Cell Perfect Form or a Perfect Cell has shocking speed. They didn't give him shocking speed. Now, when he does go into Perfect Cell, Gentleman then becomes Revival, which is a little bit better for probably teams that you might want to run him on. I know for sure LR Bojack shares Revival with that. So it's like, it's not terrible, but it's not great. It's almost as bad as the Intelligence Kid Buu situation from a while back, which we don't want to even talk about that. Intelligence Kid Buu like doesn't have any key links. Really good on paper, really good kit, but doesn't have any key links. Now, he at least does have this right here. So passive ability is fully recover HP, key +4 and attack and defense +1, 20. So he does give himself, with his own leader ability, you're guaranteed to at least super attack every single time once he's in this state. He's always going to be at 12 key, and that is nice, but I would rather it be in the sense of the SSJ4s. They supply themselves keys so much better. I mean, it's just stupid how easy it is to get off 18 keys and even 24 keys with both Vegeta and Goku because of how they built out their kit. And that's why I brought them up at the beginning, because I don't know why they can't continue to do something similar for units like this. You know, plus additional attack and defense +20% with 4 or more key spheres obtained, plus additional attack and defense 6 or more, and then 8 or more. Now, 8 or more is a little, that's a little intense, right? Like, you don't typically get 8 key spheres all the time. 6 is probably pretty consistent. 4 is definitely very consistent. But yeah, getting up to this point is a little wild. But the thing about it is, it's used as active ability. You have to get below 30% HP. You have to transform. Now, you can use this second that he comes back around. So this isn't like, oh, he transforms. That doesn't count as one of the 3. He transforms. That's 1. Your next rotation where he's not on it, it's 2. And then when he comes back, that's 3. So you can use it. It works just like Zamasu, just like Trunks. You can use it immediately once he's back on rotation. You can then use his Solar Kamehameha, which is incredible, by the way. It looks awesome. Does pretty solid damage. But the thing about it is, and it's what I said at the beginning, it's just a situation of these transformations and everything not feeling all that rewarding. 30% HP with LRs on your team. Now, if you're just running, I know sometimes I get comments like, oh, these HP restrictions aren't bad. This happens to me all the time. But if you start running units like this that are so defensively oriented, I mean, Cell is going to tank so well. That's probably what will keep Cell in a top 10 list for LRs. He still puts up good numbers, right? Like I said, I think this form is a similar attack output to the SSJ4 Vegeta. The Perfect Cell is similar output to, say, the SSJ4 Goku. I think that's a really good way to look at it. Just his utility holds him back. Even though he does give himself key +4 in his passive, since there's not too many support units on his own category, he's still going to struggle. If you're wanting to run the Android Cell category, he's still going to struggle to probably even get to 18 key, because it's not that common to get 6 or more. 4 or more, about 4 key spheres is pretty common, but 6 or more can sometimes be a little rare. So his 18 key may be not happen as often as you'd want it to, which makes his utility kind of dip a little bit. But he's still again, I'm still excited for these units. They're still good units. But anyway, there's Cell, that's Gohan in a nutshell. Taking a look at the Cell Juniors for some reason. Now, they require right here Cell Perfect Form or Perfect Cell to get an additional super attack. They don't link with Cell at all. They have Fierce Battle. That's it. Cell and Cell Juniors only share Fierce Battle. And then really fast look at the 16. The 16 is actually really good, man. Attack and defense +100%, high chance of guarding all attacks. Defense +100% and all allies key +3, and attack +50% when your team has an SSJ Gohan or SSJ2 Gohan attacking in the same turn. That is really good, dude. That is really, really good. Unfortunately, you need to have the Cell as the leader to make them be able to ran together, because otherwise, there's no other category they fit on together. Artificial life forms and androids, which of course, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but Gohan is not an artificial life form or an android. So the only way that this guy gets to be ran with the Gohan is on an android / Cell Saga team. Now this actually is kind of nice for the key +3 and stuff like that. I mean, dude, the Gohan I think is just infinitely the better unit. The Gohan is the one I'm definitely more excited for, but I'm excited for both of them. But again, just to echo it one more time, I just wish these transformations were rewarding and not annoying. So last thing really fast just to talk about was this right here. By the way, these units launch at 3:35 p.m. Central, 1:35 p.m. Pacific, 4:35 p.m. Eastern. You guys can put that into your sort of time clock to figure that out around the world. So these were some comments Dokkan made on a stream with Kawhi. I looked into this. There were some people saying this wasn't true, but then I looked into it further, and it does seem like this is what he said. So Gohan was too broken, so they nerfed him. That was all my nerf talk was at the beginning. That's just silly. And if it was a situation where Gohan was going to be just because even with Gohan apparently being nerfed, he still is a much better unit than the Cell. So if it was a situation where Gohan was going to be so much better than the Cell, then just boost the Cell. Like, is it really that difficult? Then the 16 thing, that doesn't really matter. Koski began work on the Gohan Cell 1 year ago. They work in an annual planning period. I mentioned this like years ago. I figured they probably knew what was going to happen a year from now as of recording, you know, whatever video it was at the time. As recording this, they probably are already working on what's going to release next September in late August. Things like hit miss or lack of story events occurred because Bandai was messing with Akatsuki's planning, probably wanting them to do, you know, celebrations to coincide with their other release of games, stuff like that, if I had to guess. Passive of the LR SSJ4s was changed a few nights before they went live. They were buffed. Goku's only getting an 80% attack buff, and Vegeta was only going to get a 80% defense buff. Of course, they both do 80% to defense and attack. The global banner is going to be good, and Dokkan is going all in. And then also, this is the thing I mentioned earlier. Dokkan knows the banners, but that's the thing Akatsuki hates the most for spooling. So that's why we haven't seen it. So if the global banners are going to be good, and he's going to go all in, then, you know, I see a lot of the times I'm going to wait for this, I'm going to wait for that. A lot of people saying they're going to wait for Trunks, they're going to wait for Zamasu. It's just like, if you get into that situation, by the time 300 mil ends, we have whatever happens in part 2, probably a new LR of some sort. Probably not probably, it's pretty much guaranteed there's going to be a new LR in part 2. If you keep waiting, then when Global is celebrating something incredible like Trunks and Zamasu, which again is one of the best banners we've seen all year. Piccolo's was a really good banner too, by the way. Then by the time Global is celebrating that and having fun with that banner, JP will get a new unit and will probably be an also really incredible unit as well. So you're going to be stuck in this loop of, well, I want to wait for this. Well, I want to wait for this. Well, I want to wait for this. So if these banners looks great, which Dokkan said they will be, and you know you're a fan of Gohan, you're a fan of Cell, then hop in, dude. As I said, they're still both incredible units. I think Gohan is still a top 5 unit, probably. I have almost no doubt in my mind, after seeing what he can do, he's a top 5 unit. It's just a situation of, are you disappointed that you may never see SSJ through Gohan happen, or just not see it happen frequently? And again, as I said at the beginning, it's a situation of, is it rewarding or is it annoying? And I don't know why after 4.5 years in this game, they can't figure out what makes a transformation feel rewarding versus, oh my God, I went through all this stuff to make this transformation happen. Finally, dude. Not like, ooh, yes, I'm going to use this active delay now. Pop. Yeah, dude, my SSJ2 Gohan. That's awesome. And so you're going to be like, finally, pop. All right, great. Now he's SSJ2. Thanks, Dokkan. Like, you know what I mean? It's such a big difference. But anyways, guys, there you go. That was today's video. That was kind of my supplemental before you summon. I could probably sit here and talk your heads off for the next hour or until these banners go live. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video there. Guys, you can let me know your comments, your feelings about all this down below in the comment section. You can also subscribe if you are new, hit that like button, all those things. Guys, best of luck on your summons when you're hopping in. Best of luck on anything and everything you guys are doing in life. If you're not hopping in, keep on keeping on Nanogenix off, and I'll see you all in the next video, which will be later today. Bye, guys.